Hello fellow book nerds, this is Gabby and let's talk about new books, baby! Another video where I tell you what books are coming out next month. This time we're doing August. Remember to put your votes on what you want me to review at the end of the month. I will also probably make a Twitter poll. I sometimes forget, so you know, take that with a grain of salt. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about books coming out in August. I promised you 10 books, but I only have 9. But I feel like, you know what, let's just go with what I'm actually excited about. A lot of them sound really good. A lot of them different than what I'm used to. I'm just super excited. So, the first book we have is How We Fall Apart by Zhao. And this one's coming out on August 3rd. So this is a YA thriller. I've been seeing this on Twitter everywhere. I am really excited. I think it's a debut and it looks good. It's by an East Asian author, I think, of Chinese descent, or maybe Chinese, I'm not sure. But this is what it's about. Nancy Luo is shocked when her former best friend, Jamie Ruan, top-ranked junior at Sinclair Prep, goes missing and then is found dead. Nancy is even more shocked when word starts to spread that she and her friend Crystal, Akil, and Alexander are the prime suspects. Thanks to the proctor, someone anonymously incriminating them via the school's social media app. They all used to be Jamie's closest friends, and she knew each of their deepest, darkest secrets. Now, somehow the proctor knows them too. The four must uncover the true killer before the proctor exposes more than they can bear and costs them more than they can afford, like Nancy's full scholarship. Soon, Nancy suspects that her friends may be keeping secrets from her too. So this is a dark academy book with like private schools. I don't know, it's been like a summer for them, hasn't it? I just read a book that kind of reminds me of this, which is called Ace of Spades, and that one also has that Gossip Girl element of someone revealing your secrets through messages and private prep and people out to get you. So I'm very excited. I've heard really good things and everyone seems really excited. All the people with arcs seem very excited, so you know, I'm sure they know what they're talking about. The next book is another dark academia actually, and this is A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee. So this one's coming out August 3rd as well, and it's also a YA thriller with LGBTQ+ characters. Honestly, I don't know that much about this one, but everyone always talking about it, always talking about it. I just don't understand what's so amazing, so I want to read and know what's so amazing. This is what this one's about. Perched in the Catskills Mountains, the centuries-old, ivy-covered campus was home until the tragic death of her girlfriend. She even has her old room in Godwin House, the exclusive dormitory rumored to be haunted by the spirits of the 5 Dalloway students. Girls some say were witches. The Dalloway 5 all died mysteriously, one after another, right on Godwin grounds. Witchcraft is woven into Dalloway's history. The school doesn't talk about it, but the students do. In secret rooms and shadowy corners, girls convene. And before her girlfriend died, Felicity was drawn to the dark. She's determined to leave that behind her now. All Felicity wants is to focus on her senior thesis and graduate. But it's hard when Dalloway's occult history is everywhere, and when the new girl won't let her forget. It's Alice Hailey's first year at Dalloway, and she's already amassed a loyal following. A prodigy novelist at 17, Alice is so-called method writer. She's eccentric and brilliant, and Felicity can't shake the pull she feels to her. So when Alice asks Felicity to help researching the Dalloway 5 for her second book, Felicity can't say no. Given her history of the arcane, Felicity is the perfect resource. And when the history begins to repeat itself, Felicity will have to face the darkness in Dalloway and in herself. Yeah, sounds exciting. I love witchcraft. There's so many witch books I just realized on this list. Is it Secretly October and I just didn't know? Yeah, but this one sounds so good. Again, dark academia, private schools, witches. I now see the appeal and everyone's losing their mind, like I said, so it must be a reason. So the third book I'm really excited about is The Dead and the Dark by Courtney Gould. So this one's coming out August 3rd as well, a very popular day apparently. And it's a YA horror, and again it has LGBTQ+ characters. So this one I've seen Kayla from Books and Lala really look forward to, so now like I'm intrigued. Like she makes me intrigued with things. She does that to me. This is what it's about. Something is wrong in Snakebite, Oregon. Teenagers are disappearing, some turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, and all fingers seem to point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just returned to town. Logan Oritz Woodley, daughter of the TV's Paraspectors, has never been to Snakebite before. But the moment she and her dad arrive, she starts to get the feeling that there's more secrets buried here than they originally let on. Ashley Barton's boyfriend was the first teen to go missing, and she's felt his presence ever since. But now that the Oritz Woodleys are in town, his ghost is following her, and the only person Ashley can trust is the mysterious Logan. When Ashley and Logan team up to figure out who or what is haunting Snakebite, their investigation reveals truth about the town, their families, and themselves that neither of them are ready for. As the danger intensifies, they realize that their grown feelings for each other could be a light in the darkness. So this one sounds really, really interesting. I've been reading more horror this year, and okay, all the horror I read was more like thriller, but like, it's fine. Maybe this one will be actually a horror. Okay, the next book is The Wild Ones by Nafiza Azad. This one's also coming out on August 3rd. It's a YA fantasy and has LGBTQ plus characters. I'm pretty sure it's about witches. So here's what's actually about. Meet the Wild Ones. Girls who have been hurt, abandoned, and betrayed all their lives. It all began with Paheli, who was once betrayed by her mother and sold to a man in exchange for a favor. When Paheli escapes, she runs headlong into a boy with stars in his eyes. This boy, as battered as she is, tosses Paheli a box of stars before disappearing. With the stars, Paheli gains access to the Between, a place of pure magic and mystery. Now, Paheli collects girls like herself, and these wild ones use their magic to travel the world, helping the hopeless and saving others from the fates they suffered. Then Paheli and the wild ones learn that the boy who gave them the stars, Tarana, is in danger. He's on the run from powerful forces within the world of magic. But if Tarana is no longer safe and free, neither are the wild ones. And that is a fate the wild ones refuse to accept ever again. And that just sounds wonderful. Like, I can just imagine the powerful characters that will be in this book. It sounds so good, and it's like really, like, I saw the cover on Twitter and that's how I got interested in it, so I didn't actually know what it was properly about until now, but like, that sounds adorable as hell, and I love the cover, so like, love it. And Portal fantasies, you know I love Portal fantasies. All the ones I read I loved. Is that true? It's partly true. It's a little bit true. It's time for book number 5. So this one is called In My Dreams, I Hold a Knife by Ashley Winstead. And this one's also coming out on August 3rd. And it's an adult thriller. And what really appealed to me was the title. So I was doing research for this and I just saw the title. I was like, hello there, thriller. I love me a good thriller. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't disappoint. Here's the synopsis. 10 years after graduation, Jessica Miller has planned her triumphant return to Southern elite DeQuette University, down to the envious whispers that are sure to follow in her wake. Everyone is going to see the girl she wants them to see. Confident, beautiful, indifferent. Not the girl she was when she left the campus. Back when Heather's murder fractured everything, including the tight bond linking the 6 friends she'd been closest to since freshman year. 10 years ago, everything fell apart, including the dreams she worked for her whole life, and her relationship with the one person she wasn't supposed to love. But not everyone is ready to move on. Not everyone left the Quets 10 years ago, and not everyone can let Heather's murder go unsolved. Someone is determined to trap the real killer, to make the guilty pay. When the 6 friends are reunited, they will be forced to confront what happened that night, and the year's worth of secrets each of them would do anything to keep hidden. Yeah, it just kind of sounds like a proper thriller, like maybe a little bit of isolated thingy because they're all in the school and secrets, and I think it's a dual timeline as well. It sounds very fun. I'm always on the lookout for a good thriller. I feel like I need more thrillers in my life to make my little tiny heart happy. Yeah, I need murder to make my life happy. Okay, this one's fascinating. So this one's called The Other Me by Sarah Zachrich, Jeng. And this was coming out on August 10th. We're away from the third, like calm down with the third. And it's a sci-fi thriller and it's adult. And I'm very excited because this one sounds very like out of my comfort zone. So here's the synopsis. Her birthday should be like any other night. 1 minute Kelly's a free-spirited artist in Chicago, going to her best friend's art show. The next, she opens a door and mysteriously emerges in her Michigan hometown. Suddenly, her life is unrecognizable. She's got 12 years of the wrong memories in her head, and she's married to Eric, a man she barely knew in high school. Racing to get back to her old life, Kelly's search leads only to more questions. In this life, she loves Eric and wants to trust him, but everything she discovers about him, including a connection to a mysterious tech startup, tells her she shouldn't. And strange things keep happening. The tattoos she had when she was an artist briefly reappear on her skin. She remembers fights with Eric that he says never happened. And her relationships with loved ones, both new and familiar, seem to change without warning. But the closer Kelly gets to putting the pieces together, the more her reality seems to shift. And if she can figure out what happened on her birthday, the next change could cost her everything. So this sounds very out there, like really sci-fi kind of vibe. I feel like this is what there's this book called In 5 Years by Rebecca Sarah-Lee, and this one has a similar premise of a woman like sees a different life, and it kind of sounds like this book might be what I wanted from the other book but didn't get, because the other book was a disappointment, but this one sounds really good, like I don't know, really interesting, different than what I normally read, but like in a good way, you know. Okay, next one is one I'm unsure about but like interested. So this one's called Velvet Was the Night by Silvia Moreno-Garcia, and it's coming out on August 17th, and it's an adult historical fiction / thriller. This book's author also wrote The Mexican Gothic and The Shadow Gods, I don't know, another book. And I've really been interested in her work. I know Mexican Gothic, like a lot of people really liked it, and this gives me maybe like a similar vibe a little bit. I don't know, I'm like unsure. Like reading the synopsis, I don't think I'd like it. I really want to read something by this author, so why not her newest release? So here's the infamous synopsis. 1970s Mexico City. Mate is a secretary who lives for one thing. The latest issue of Secret Romance. While student protests and political unrest consume the city, Mate escapes into stories of passion and danger. Her next-day neighbor, Leonora, beautiful art student, seems to live a life of intrigue and romance that Mate envies. When Leonora disappears under suspicious circumstances, Mate finds herself searching for the missing woman and journeying deeper into Leonora's secret life of student radicals and dissidents. Meanwhile, someone else is also looking for Leonora. At the behest of his boss, a shadowy figure who commands goon squads dedicated to squashing political activists. Elvis is an eccentric criminal who longs to escape his own life. He loathes violence and loves old movies and rock and roll. Is it Elvis? But as Elvis searches for the missing woman, he comes to observe Mate from a distance and grows more and more obsessed with the woman who shares his love of music and the unspoken loneliness of his heart. Now, as Mate and Elvis come closer to discovering the truth behind Leonora's disappearance, they can no longer escape the danger that threatens to consume their lives, with hitmen, government agents, and Russian spies all aiming to protect Leonora's secret at gunpoint. See, I don't know, like, it kind of appeals to me in theory, like it's a good synopsis, but I don't really like historical fiction, and I don't really like the whole like criminal, gunslinger, rock and roll, don't care for all of that. I'm intrigued. And is that Elvis? Like Elvis Presley? So he was born in 1935. So in 1970 he'd be like 40 years old, so I kind of doubt that it's him. I don't know what. Anyway, that was probably a long shot, but that's the only Elvis I know. The penultimate book I wanted to talk about is called Bad Witch Burning by Jessica Lewis, and it's coming out on August 24th, and it's a YA urban fantasy, and I really like the cover. That's why I was interested in it, but like it looks really good. It has witches and like looks cool. So apparently it's for fans of Us and the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So I'm a fan of both of those. Like, do they mean Us by Jordan Peele? Because I love that movie. And Chilling Adventures of Sabrina was like a camp classic. I don't know. It was really good. Okay, this is the synopsis. Cattrall doesn't mind talking to the dead. Cattrall doesn't mind talking to the dead. She just wishes it made more money. Clients pay her to talk to their deceased loved ones, but it isn't enough to support her unemployed mother and mom's deadbeat boyfriend of the week. Things get worse when a ghost warns her to stop the summonings or she'll burn everything down. Cattrall is willing to call them on their bluff though. She has no choice. What do ghosts know about eating peanut butter for dinner? However, when her next summoning accidentally raises someone from the dead, Cattrall realizes that a live body is worth a lot more than a dead apparition. And warning or not, she has no intention of letting this lucrative new business go. But magic doesn't come for free, and soon dark forces are closing in on Cattrall. The further she goes, the more she risks the lives of not only herself, but those she loves. Cattrall faces a choice. Resign herself to poverty or confront the darkness before it's too late. We love a morally great protagonist. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. Okay, and the last book I'm very hyped about. So this one's called My Heart is a Chainsaw, and it's by Stephen Graham Jones, and it's coming out on August 31st. And this one is an adult horror. And I've read another book by Stephen Graham Jones, and it was called The Only Good Indians, and it was a really good book. Like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good horror, especially now. Like, I feel like the more times pass, the more I think I enjoyed it as well. It was like a very weird read. But he's a Native American author, and the previous book was about like Native American protagonist, and it was set at a reservation. So I'm not sure if this one is as well. We'll find out. So this is what it's about. Alma Katsu calls My Heart is a Chainsaw an homage to slasher films that also manages to defy and transcend genre. On the surface, it's a story of murder in a small town America, but beneath it, it's beating heart, biting critique of American colonialism, indigenous displacement, and gentrification, and a heartbreaking portrait of a broken young girl who uses horror movies to cope with the horror of her own life. Jade Daniels is an angry, half-Indian outcast, with an abusive father, an absent mother, and an entire town that wants nothing to do with her. She lives in her own world, a world in which protection comes from an unusual source: horror movies. Especially the ones where a masked killer seeks revenge on the world that wronged them. I love that she identifies with the murderers. It's like, yeah, you do you, babe. And Jade narrates the quirky history of Prufrock as if it is one of those movies. But then, when blood actually starts to spill into the waters of Indian Lake, she pulls us into her dizzying, encyclopedic mind of blood and masked murders, and predicts exactly how the plot will unfold. Yet even as Jade drags us into her dark fever dream, a surprising and intimate portrait emerges. A portrait of the scared and traumatized little girls beneath the Jason Voorhees mask. Angry, yes, but also a girl who easily cries, fiercely loves, and desperately wants a home. A girl whose feelings are too big for her body. My Heart is a Chainsaw is her story and her homage to horror and revenge and triumph. I'm so confused. So I think what we're reading is like the narration of the main character of the book, because it's like a trailer for the horror. I don't know, this sounds very bizarre, but like, I'm reading it because I believe in the author and I think it's going to be really good. So I'm definitely going to read it as soon as I can, and I'm super excited. Hello, it is I from the future, and I actually have another book that I want to talk about, actually 2 books that I want to talk about, and I thought why not bring it to 10 with a bonus entry then. So this book is something that Hanan shared with me. Actually, she shared the book trailer with me and I thought it looked so good, and like the cover's cool. I think it's by South Asian author as well, like really fun stuff. So I decided to include it as well. Why not? This is what happens when you pre-record, everyone. So, you know, you just catch up. So this one's called The Boy with Fire by Aparna Verma. So this one's coming out on August 31st, and it's a fantasy, I think. So it is pitched as Dune meets the Poppy War. Yasin Knight was the Arohasin's most notorious assassin until a horrible accident. Now he's on the run from both the authorities and his former employer. But when Yasin seeks refuge from an old friend, he's offered an irresistible deal: defend the era of Ravens from Arohasin and earn his freedom. Elena Ravens prepares to ascend the throne. Trains his birth in statecraft, warfare, and the desert ways, Elena knows she is ready. She only lacks one thing: the ability to hold fire, with a capital F. With the coronation only weeks away, she must learn quickly or lose her kingdom. Leo Ravens is not ready to give up the crown. There's still too much work to be done, too many battles to be won. But when an ancient prophecy threatens to undo his lifetime of work, Leo wages war on the heavens themselves to protect his legacy. So it's the first one in a trilogy, looks really fun. I'm super duper excited. And the 11th book, I guess, let's just go with that. Why doesn't it need to be an honorable mention? Is The Marionettes by Katie Wismer. So this one's coming out on August 24th, and it's urban / paranormal fantasy. And it's from Katie, who's a fellow booktuber. She also wrote like Anti-Virginity Pact, Anti-Relationship Year, and some poetry, and like I really love her stuff. And when I filmed the video originally, she didn't yet say when the book would be coming out, but now she did, and even the cover's here, and I'm so excited. So let's just read what it's about, because I think there's vampires, but I'm not sure. Valerie Darkmoor's entire life has been building up to this moment, her initiation into the Marionettes, the prestigious league of witches sworn to serve the vampires. As one of the last remaining blood witches, her spot is almost guaranteed. At least, so she thought. The academy is full of sabotage and secrets as the tasks begin, and Valerie quickly realizes she has more than her spot on the line. Her survival seems just as uncertain. The closer she gets to the final trial, the more she learns everything, and everyone around her isn't quite what it seems. It sounds so much fun. I'm excited for all of these, every single one. Anyway, back to the old me. Bye! So didn't all these books sound so good? I feel like they really did. August is gonna be the month. And have you noticed how little high fantasy? There was no high fantasy on this list. I'm a bit of a detox, but there weren't that many high fantasies anyway. Apparently, August is like a month for thrillers. Apparently. I guess it's so warm that people like don't mind being scared. I guess that might be a thing. And there's so many like private school, prep school, boarding school thrillers this summer. It's actually insane. Like every month I read out all the new releases for you, there's something about prep school. Like it's crazy. Anyway, tell me which one of these books you're most excited by. Please let me know in the comments which one would you like me to review. I would happily review any of these. They all sound amazing. So yeah, write in the comments, shout it from the rooftops. Tell me on Twitter, vote in my poll, whatever you want to do, I'm listening. Because there are some months that I feel like I have the book. Like I know which book I'm going to read and review because I've been excited about it for so long. But this one's like, all these books sound really fun, really exciting. All of them I'm up for. But not one of them that is like, doesn't matter what the Twitter poll says, I'm going to read you. I don't have a book like this month, so I really need your help. I really need you to tell me which book I should read. My Heart is a Chainsaw won't be on that list because it's coming out so late in the month. I would not be able to fit the video, but don't worry, I'm gonna definitely make a read it and maybe make a 5 reasons to read or something for it because I think it's gonna be great. If you wrote your pick in the comments, that means that video is over now. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, if you could comment, like, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!